The Boys is an Amazon Prime show that's been adapted from a comic book series of the same name. It follows the story of the boys as they attempt to bring the Seven to justice. Now, the Seven are a Justice League-like group of superheroes, except that they're hedonists and colossal perverts who break the law and murder as and when they feel like it, showing us that absolute power corrupts absolutely, which is the show's main theme. And this video is going to take a look at the boys and decide just which of the Lantern Corps they belong in. Now, I decided to do this video about the characters in the Amazon series rather than the comic book. Now, some of you wonder why I'm bothering to make that distinction, but it's because the characters are actually very different in the comics than they are in the show. Some elements are the same, of course, but there are also some very big differences. And with that out of the way, let's get started. Butcher. Out of all of the characters, Butcher is without a doubt the easiest to place in the Lantern Corps. Now, although it could be argued that fear would work for him, and it would work very well as he is a very scary guy, in truth, we all know that the only Lantern Corps for him is the Red Lanterns of Rage, because he is a rage monster obsessed with revenge, and that is what the Crimson Lantern Corps is all about, anger and revenge. So it's absolutely perfect for Butcher. In fact, it would even give him the power he needs to take on the Homelander in a one-on-one fight. And with the levels of rage that Butcher has, he could potentially even beat Homelander, though it would be a close fight. But the reason it's right for him is very simple. It's because his entire life is about getting revenge on Homelander for raping his wife, and destroying his whole life. Butcher had a rough life filled with a bad childhood, then murder and misery, but his wife was his happily ever after. His way out of the army, or Black Ops, and a way to have a good life. But then she was taken from him, and all Butcher has left is a void where his wife used to be. And he has filled that void with a rage, an unstoppable fury that makes him want to kill not only Homelander, but all of the superpowered people on the planet. And of course, destroy the Vought Company. So like I said, the Red Lantern Corps is just perfect for him. MM. Now, as I said, a lot of things are different from the comics to the show. In the comics, MM and his brother get Compound V in their veins thanks to Vought. They are born with it, and it ends up killing his brother and giving MM super strength. And MM also has to drink his mother's breast milk for his entire life, because if he stops drinking it, which his mother did try to do many times, he gets weak and sickly, and eventually he will die. Hence why his nickname is Mother's Milk. But obviously that has been changed for the show, as he has no superpowers. But Vought has still screwed over his family by covering up the crimes of the so-called hero, Soldier Boy, who is responsible for killing MM's grandfather. And MM has worked hard to escape poverty and to build a life for himself. And he also works out like crazy, given his physique, and he works in rehabilitation, a very difficult area to work in. And not only does he help these people to get rehabilitated, but all of them respect him so much that they jump to attention when he walks in a room. Basically, he's a big tough guy and they don't want to mess with him. But all of this takes one thing: willpower. MM has clearly had his family screwed over by Vought, and as such has had no advantages in life, and has started at the bottom rung of the ladder. But he has managed to carve out a good life for himself. He had a great partner he loved, a good steady job helping people, and he takes care of himself and his child. Now, admittedly, as the show's gone on, he's kind of screwed up his relationship with the mother of his child, but I imagine they'll work things out, because MM isn't the kind of guy to quit on her or on his child. He may have made mistakes, but the true mark of willpower isn't getting everything right. I mean, we all make mistakes. There's no way around that. No, willpower is about sticking it out and fixing things when you make a mess of them. It's about not quitting. And MM does not quit. So I think willpower makes sense for him, especially given his general presence. Just listening to the guy talk, you can tell he's a man of great willpower. He's intimidating and driven, and though his scariness could mean he belongs in the Fear Lantern Corps, I think willpower just makes more sense. Huey. Now, my first choice for Huey was actually Hope, as he is able to hold on to hope for incredible odds. And by hope, I mean he hasn't completely given into the darkness like the other boys have. He is always thinking that they can still win, they can still stick together, and they don't necessarily have to kill everyone. But the problem is that he has had a lot of moments where he has all but given up hope, so it doesn't quite fit. It might work, as he does always get back up again, but there is a better choice, and that is the Indigo Core of Compassion. Now, as I said, he doesn't like killing others, or even torturing them, which is definitely a compassionate thing, and definitely makes him a bit of an odd one out with the boys, because they really don't have a problem with violence. But more to the point, Huey cares about others openly. He even got himself captured to save Frenchie, MM and Kimiko, even though he was essentially just throwing his life away and would likely be killed. Frenchie even says that he has never seen a more pointless display of sacrifice and camaraderie. But the point being, he cares deeply for other people. He even saved the life of A-Train, the person who murdered Robin, the love of his life, when he could have just let him die of a heart attack, which is crazy. But it does show that he has a lot of empathy for other people. And empathy is of course compassion, and being able to shove aside all of the hatred and resentment that he feels towards A-Train. And the fact that he can do that and save his life is amazing. And yeah, he still has a lot of anger towards him. I mean, he still killed the woman he loved, but still, he's able to let go of his need for revenge on A-Train. And if that doesn't show that he belongs in the Compassion Lantern Corps, then I don't know what does. Although oddly enough, it is only in the show that he does this. In the comics, he actually does kill A-Train in a fit of anger by kicking his head off of his body. But hey, I guess the actor who plays A-Train had a contract for more seasons of The Boys, so some changes had to be made to Huey's character and his life choices. Either that or the writers just wanted to make Huey a bit more likeable by having him less murdery. But hey, I do still think it works in the way that the story has been written. Frenchie. Now, Frenchie is a fun-loving, drug-addled assassin of superheroes. He is a career criminal who is a master of creating weapons and devices to hurt and kill superheroes. From explosives to special-coated knives and bullets, Frenchie is your guy. So it may surprise you when I say that the best Lantern Corps for him is the Love Lantern Corps. Now, Frenchie is definitely a psychopath, there's no doubt of that. So being in the Fear Lantern Corps does kind of make sense. But it doesn't really match his personality. His main driving force is love. Love for his friends whom he failed, and later love for the female Kimiko. His main character arc is taking care of her and helping to rehabilitate her into society. Now you could argue it's compassion, but since he only really has compassion for her, I think it's best described as love, as compassion would be more generalised. And Kimiko is all that he cares about, it's all that he's loyal to. And since his love for her appears to be his only real drive and motivation, it makes the most sense for him to be in the Star Sapphire Lantern Corps of love. Kimiko. Now, we know next to nothing about this girl. In fact, in the comics she's just called the Female, so at least in the show she gets a name. But all we really know about her is that she comes from a war-torn country, that she was experimented on so she could be used as a weapon, and that she was essentially turned into a slave to be stored and sold as property, and used as her masters see fit, which basically means she was going to be used to kill a lot of people. We also know that she has a brother, a much more anger-filled brother who wants to hurt people, just like he has been hurt in the past, because much like her, he has also been experimented on. And she actually had to watch as her brother was killed by Stormfront, and even though her brother is a psychopathic supervillain, he is still her brother. So when she had to stand by and watch Stormfront kill him, well, that must have been understandably bad, and it probably really screwed her up. But emotionally, we just don't know that much about her. Her drives, her dreams and ambitions, we just don't know. Yeah, we did find out in Season 3 that she kinda wants to be a singer, but having a far-off dream about being a Broadway star, well, that's not really enough to put her in a Lantern Corps. That's just a far-off dream, and we all kind of have that one dream of being famous, but it doesn't mean that dream defines us. So that does make it hard to place her in a Lantern Corps. But even so, there are really only two options. One is the Black Lantern Corps of Death, and this corps is for those who worship death, and for those who have died and come back to life, which Kimiko has done quite a few times, as resurrection seems to be one of her superpowers. And given how easily she has killed people, this corps is possible for her, and does kinda make sense. But I think a better Lantern Corps is the Yellow Lantern Corps of Fear, because she is terrifying. In some respects, she is actually the most dangerous member of the boys, and not just because she is super strong and can tear a person's head off with her bare hands, but also because she seems to not mind killing people at all. Yeah, she kind of does make these moments out where she doesn't like violence, but the truth is, she seems to actually enjoy killing people, which does make the deathcore seem more likely, but still, I think fear is more her style. Because it's not so much that she enjoys killing people, it's that she enjoys being strong. She enjoys being feared because it means she is able to defend herself. And she does inspire great fear in others, and she would definitely be fine having a Sinestro ring. She's made it clear that she wants power so that others fear her. I mean, she made it clear when she got re-injected with Compound V that she wants power so that others fear her and that she is strong. She wants to be able to protect herself, but she also wants to be able to scare others so that she is safe from being attacked in the first place and is able to protect her friends. She wants to be feared. So I think the Sinestro Corps is the best choice for her. And those are my choices for the boys' Lantern Corps. What did you think of the ones I picked? Do you agree? Or would you put them in different Lantern Corps altogether? Be sure to let us know in the comments, and I'd just like to quickly remind everyone that we have some new merchandise available on our store, and I'd like to say thanks to all of you who have donated to the Needle Mouse Productions page on Patreon. And as always, thanks for watching, and feel free to subscribe, share, like, and comment.